Oh, hey. Welcome back, guys, to the first post-COVID show of 2021. Actually, we haven't talked in a year and a half.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. Well, this is Indecisive Cinema, and I'm Carlos Hernandez.
And I'm Jeremy Knight.
And the man to my left is Jeremy Knight. And, I'm
across from you.
To my left.
We're in a new setup.
I'm like in love with this new window space.
We're back in the studio again.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the studio. I like calling it the studio. Gloriana was mad because last time I came back from the last show, she goes, "Oh, can I go and see the studio?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And then I went there. She goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at Jeremy." She goes, "Oh, what are you doing in his house?" I said, "I'm at his house. I'm at the studio." She goes, "Oh, I wanted to go." I was like, "Yeah, next time." But yeah, I like this little space. I like it now. I mean, last time was cool, but it was hot, right? That was the thing. That was really hot.
Yeah, anytime they do it on Sundays, they don't keep the air conditioning on in here, so we just sweat our asses off.
We had the little fan on, but that's thinking on it. So what you been doing for the past year and 4 months?
Just working and watching a lot of TV, watching a lot of movies, playing a lot of video games.
I see that list. What game are you playing right now?
Well, I've been struggling to find a game forever. I feel like that I either haven't played or that I'm interested, I don't know. I just haven't sunk a bunch of time into a single game in a long time. Okay. I keep jumping around. And,
so what's the games you've been going back and forth on?
Well, right now I'm playing through Disco Elysium, which is this. It's like a story-based game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like D&D. There's dice rolls and stuff like that. It's all conversation-based, but it's fantastic. And then I'm playing through the Witcher series again. It's like falling into an old habit where I'm like, let me just do it again. I'll just play through that series again. So that'll consume my whole life for the next few weeks.
I was playing, my stepson's got God of War, the first one. It was free, and he was playing it. The graphics are amazing, and I was
the one for PS4?
For PS4,
yeah.
But the graphics
fantastic.
are updated to PS5, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess
I played that a few months ago, and it's just outstanding.
Yeah,
that was probably the last game that I dove into.
And played a lot of levels. Yeah. But
this isn't a video game podcast, though. This is a movie
for
podcast.
everybody who's tuning in saying, did they change the format of the show? No, we're just catching up. We did have dinner last week, but we haven't really seen each other since March 2020.
Man.
And we're just catching up. I know, it's been a long time, man.
And the last podcast we did was over Skype.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In August. That's right. August of 2020, we did a Skype one. Was that bad quality? Or I know you hated it.
Yeah, the quality wasn't as good as what I'd want to do the show. And it's just not, I don't know, it's just not the format that I don't know.
It's just the only show. I didn't think you uploaded it, right? Because I was like,
it's on there.
Okay, it's the only one I haven't heard. I got to go back and hear it. I forgot what did you.
Yeah, it's
you didn't.
Listening to a phone call, basically. So, we did that just because it was we knew we couldn't do another show for a long time, and we just wanted to. I hadn't seen you in forever,
so we wanted.
It was worth doing, but yeah, it just wasn't something I wanted to do consistently that way, and I'd have to kick Marissa out of my living room where I did it. And,
I would have to go to the bedroom to do it.
Yeah,
funny because the last show we did, well, not the August one, but the actual physical. We were talking about the Academy Awards, and there was another Academy Awards, and I still don't even know who won Best Picture.
I think it was Nomadland.
Nomadland, that's right. Yeah.
Which is on my list.
Which you saw, that's on Hulu and on Prime. So how do you want to start this? How do you want to dive back in? I see your list.
Well, we have kind of just a list of random recent releases. Pretty much everything on here was released in the past year or so.
Yeah.
We have 2 TV shows that I'll kind of just throw out at some point near the end, but everything else is, other than Bo Burnham's Inside Special.
The special,
is have you seen that?
I have not. I wanted to, but I haven't.
But yeah, that's the only one that's not a movie technically, but yeah, so we can just dive right in if you want. We've got a fair amount of stuff to talk about.
And here we go, episode 42. So, you want to talk about Bo Burnham?
We can do that first. Yeah, sure, we can do these in any order.
Yeah. We'll talk about Bo Burnham because I did want to say I saw the commercial. So
have you seen any of his stand-up specials?
I do. I have.
Okay.
All the way up until the one before this one.
Yeah. So, have you seen that last Make Happy? I think.
Happy.
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you've seen all of them, but Inside.
Up until this new one.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of his. I never really got into stand-up comedy or like singing comedy. Like I just was never a big fan of that until more recently. I just kind of grew a little bit of more of an appreciation for it. Because I was just a snob growing up. I was just like, this isn't high art, you know. I don't know. I mean, he was a YouTuber, and then I don't know. Like now he's just doing everything. It seems like he's directed Eighth Grade, which is fantastic. Great film. Make Happy was the one that I think really stood out to me. I think is it Make Happy? Yeah. I think that's right. Mm-hmm. So with this Inside special, he filmed it all by himself. Like entirely by himself, so there's no camera crew or anything like that. And he films it like in a room the size of the one we're in. It's like a small apartment, and
so there's no audience.
No audience.
Interesting. I thought
because it was filmed during COVID. He made it over like during the COVID time.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, COVID's still going around, obviously, but during like the height of the pandemic, and so. That's why it's called Inside, because it all takes place in this one room, and he does all the recording, all of the obviously the writing and everything for the music, but also mans the camera and the lights and everything, and it's one of the best things I've seen all year. I think it's I was blown away by the production level from a single individual, even though it's like, you know, like on the Netflix format, I didn't get to see it in the big screen, which apparently they're actually releasing it. Alamo Drafthouse is releasing it.
Interesting.
So I'd like to go see it in the big screen because it looks great for just like a simple setup. Like he leaves like the apartment slowly over the course of the time, gets messier and messier, and just like he just has cameras and like lights and you can see like his monitor set up, and you can see like it just is really like it's almost like he doesn't care. But it's like very real and down to earth presentation. I don't know. It's I don't have. I mean, it's obviously it's a musical. There's no like stand up in it. It's all based through like songs. And all the music's really good. Obviously, I mean that's something that he's known for. And just I don't know, the overall presentation of it's really impressive. And I was really blown away, and it goes to really dark places. But what's also interesting about it is it's like you watch him kind of, is it? Oh, I thought I heard.
Outside.
Gotcha. To some degree, you watch him over the course of this year or so, whenever he made it. I don't know exactly how long it took him. I'd like to read some articles about it, but I haven't had a chance to. But over the course of, I mean, this year, like you watch, like he lets his hair grow out and his beard, and like just kind of lets himself go. And it's interesting to watch somebody kind of experience on screen, or to watch somebody on screen experience what a lot of us did during COVID. And he goes to very dark places, and there's a scene where he breaks down, and I don't know, it's just very, it was impressive to see just kind of how, I don't know, how real he gets in this. And it was a kind of a side that I hadn't seen from him, at least before, even though Make Happy does go to some dark places as well. So I don't know. But Burnham Inside is totally worth watching. I think it's one of the best things that was made during the COVID era. And it was, I mean, of the things on this list, I think it's one of the few things that was actually made, like started and finished during the COVID era, which is interesting.
So you're saying it actually spans the course of time? Yeah. Okay, that's awesome.
And some of the skits jump around, like you can see his hair shorter and longer throughout some of it, because it's not all in chronological order, but you definitely get a sense that time has passed throughout it. And I don't know, it's just a really unique experiment, and it really works. And obviously it's very funny and very thoughtful, and the songs are like, the music's really well written and very fun. But I can't believe that he accomplished such a task. It's one of those things, even just like keeping the camera in focus. Like I don't know how you get all that right. Like there's a scene where he's like using like a yardstick or like a tape measure to like measure focal distance and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just unbelievable that like he did it all himself. So
that's cool. Definitely gonna check that out too.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth watching. It's on Netflix, so and in theaters now. So if you can see it in theaters, I think it's worth seeing. But I think it's only coming to like select theaters.
We're opening a draft house over here, you know, right?
Is that actually happening though?
The sign officially went up, says coming in. I think he said if not Christmas, spring.
Oh, okay. So they updated the sign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We just drive 5 minutes away.
Yeah, because it's right there down in Dickinson on 646. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, Bo Burnham Inside is just I can't praise it more. It's really, really good.
Definitely gonna watch.
So the next one on the list is In the Heights.
In the Heights. I did. I saw it.
You saw it in theaters?
Yeah.
Or
No. I ended up the next day, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. Yeah, we watched it on HBO and really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I agree with you that it would be cool to watch on the big screen.
I kind of gave Carlos my thoughts on this the other night when we hung out, and some of these on this list as well. But go ahead and talk about the plot for those that don't know.
All right, so we were in the Bronx, New York, and this is during, I was going to say similar to Do the Right Thing, but it's a hot day, or the hottest days in New York, and it's a countdown to a type of blackout. And we were introduced to a bunch of characters. Usnavi is the main character, who is a young man who is tending his father's grocery store bodega, and his cousin, his little cousin's there, and he's in love with this girl Vanessa, who is a part of the salon, and it's really well done. It represents all the cultures. I'm Puerto Rican from Brooklyn, and it has Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, and it has the South Americans and Jamaicans, and basically the plot is Usnavi is going to move, or his dream is to move to the Dominican Republic and live there and live his rest of his days there. And, in coming in contact in this last week or so, him and this love of his life, Vanessa, actually get close, and, relationship springs up. This is songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he's really good. He's in it too. He's got a small part as a Piragua man, Nicey man. But it's really well done. The songs are really good. It's funny. You don't have to be a New Yorker, obviously. So Jeremy dug it. I didn't think. I was like, I wonder how it's going to look to people outside New York. But it does. Obviously, you can talk about it too, about how you felt. But it does. It felt good. It was like a feel good movie. I love the shot. Like, it did bring out. I say New York, but it's more the Bronx than anything. That one street, which is where they shot The Professional, that apartment. That shot of where on his corner you can see the bridge, but you can also see New York City in the background. Mm-hmm. I love that shot, and that shot plays throughout the film a lot.
That's where they do the musical number on the side of the house, the building, right?
On the building too. Yeah, when you get that nice shot too, they get the side of that. But it's a really good movie. I mean, it's like I said, it also reminded me of West Side Story, which is coming out at Christmas time.
That looks interesting.
Yeah, I actually like what he's doing.
What's it? Is it Ron Howard? Who's directing that?
Spielberg.
Oh, it's Spielberg. Okay, gotcha.
And it's just funny, and it has really emotional. It's funny because oh my God, what was that? What's it called? The music video,
Anima from Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, and that was on. That's also on Netflix. You got me to watch that.
Yeah,
and it's funny because the Abuela scene. That whole scene felt like that. Did you get that?
The stuff at night, or when she's like walking through the tunnel.
When she's walking and dancing and singing, and it reminded me of that too because when he's in the tunnels coming out of work, in that sequence, I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh my God, that's really well done in that aspect too. I'm not saying they stole it, but
no, definitely not.
But it had this kind of sense
similar
of
visuals
and stuff. Yeah, but it was really emotional. It was really feel good. And it made me miss New York a lot, but it was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda, so far he's batting 1,000. I don't think he's done anything that sucks. I haven't watched his Dark Materials, but that's not that he created that, but yeah, I really dug it. I thought it was fun, and the music was good, the acting was cute, and I guess that's it. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. I mean, I saw it in theaters, and I think it's a movie that's made to be seen on the big screen, and obviously, a lot of the numbers are really well done and choreographed, and the music's pretty good. Like it's easy to follow, and not like I don't know, like not to compare it to Cats or something like that, but like that's a movie where you can't understand what's happening.
Yeah,
it's I don't know, it's a pleasurable experience across the board. I do think it's a little long. It's like 2.5 hours.
And it's funny because, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. And it's funny because when I first saw it, I was kind of happy with the ending. And then the next day I talked about it. And people were like, "Oh, you like that ending?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why not?"
It's cheesy, but it's fun.
Yeah. And she was like, and then mostly female women were like, "Oh, why does Vanessa have to give up her dream?" And I was kind of like, I don't think she really did. But I mean, you don't get that.
Move out of the
just out of the neighborhood. But
spoiler.
I wanted
in the Heights. If you can spoil this movie.
Oh my god! I just said. Whereas in the little dream before the dream at the end. You see her doing, the clothing, but I didn't see that afterward. I thought I would see a little booth where her stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like, I started thinking about that. I said, what? I said, no, it couldn't be. I guess they just.
It doesn't really. You don't get much after the reveal.
The reveal, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of just. I don't know. It's cheesy, but
it's cheese, but it's fun.
It earned it. It earned the cheese. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see the Do the Right Thing comparison, though. Not just the heat, but the sense of neighborhood that's there, and it's no Do the Right Thing, obviously. It's very few things are.
It's like with the trailer, the way they shot, very well done trailer, and they had the little visual lights. I thought someone gets shot or killed or dies during the blackout. I thought it was going to be some type of tragedy that way. So then there's the other type, and even though but yeah, you had that feel. And there was anger when that happened. And I was like, oh my god. But then when you see, you're like, oh my god, this really plays out. Just okay. It's not like that. It's not dark and gritty. Do the Right Thing was, but
yeah, it doesn't even. I mean, I was telling Marissa that it doesn't even have much conflict to some degree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, and it's weird because the one scene where we had to put on subtitles. Because we even shut off the AC because I thought maybe it was the AC sucking up. But when Usnavi visits his uncle, oh my God, I forgot Ralphie Manny's father, played by Mark Anthony.
I don't even remember this scene.
Yeah, and he's basically asking him if it's okay he can take him to Dominican Republic, and he's drinking and he's he looked all drugged up and he's talking, he's all dirty, And it's we were all painted, and there was I thought that would be bigger conflict. And I'm like, Mark Anthony, not that he's a great actor, but he appeared in this movie, and he did have his heyday back in the late '90s. And I'm like, he just came and went, and I was like, oh, okay. But I thought that was going to be the major conflict.
Make sure you're talking into the mic.
I'm sorry. I thought that would be the major conflict of the film. He was going to fight Usnavi by not giving his son to him, or sell his kid to him. Remember,
that felt a little underdeveloped.
Yeah, and it was also very low. Like I said, I literally had to put on the subtitles. We had to turn off everything just so I can hear what was going on. And but you're right. There's nothing, no conflict.
The reason I don't remember that scene is just because I feel like it's such a small piece of the film.
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes long, and you never see Mark Anthony again. It's a lot of the characters you see throughout the film, he's the only one you see in that one scene, and that was it. So I don't know. Yeah,
there's definitely. I mean, it's kind of one of those movies where there's a lot of characters. They're not that interesting. I mean, they're fun to watch, but they're not really deep or anything like that.
I agree.
It's a minor issue. I mean, I think that's part of the reason it feels so long, though, is because there isn't really a narrative.
Yeah.
You just all these people have different dreams, and you're following, you're watching them fulfill their dreams in song, and it's it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it,
and it's free. It's on not anymore. Wait, what's today's date? Yeah, it left on the 11th, so it'll come back probably in September. Yeah, but you can go see it on the big screen. You can pay $5. But yeah,
I'd say it's worth it.
Like I said, I dug it. I mean, I agree with you that I would if I had free tickets or if I snuck in, I'd definitely see it on the big screen just to see that. But excuse me. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I did. I enjoyed it.
So next thing on our list is False Positive, which is Alana Glazer. I always forget. From Broad City.
Yeah, G-R-A-C. Yeah, I love her.
Who plays a person that is trying to conceive a child with her husband, Justin Theroux. All very good in this movie, by the way. And
she normally doesn't play dramatic roles, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, and that's what's weird about this. So, they're trying to conceive a child, and they're having difficulty, and they go see this world-renowned doctor.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, but played by Pierce Brosnan, who plays this. He's such the tone of this film is really bizarre. I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, it's in the trailer. They're able to conceive a child, and something might not quite be right with the baby. And I won't go into the details of what that is, but most of that's in the trailer, so I just don't want to spoil anything outside of the trailer. It's on Hulu. It kind of got dumped on there during the pandemic. I think Hulu must have just bought the rights to it or something, because it's A24 though as well.
Well, remember, Prime owns Hulu, so it's on Prime as well, I heard, no?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see it on Prime.
Yeah, okay,
but...
so then, because I mean, Amazon owns Hulu, and so that's why when I normally see films on Hulu, I go to Prime there too, so I can watch them either or. But you're right. I think this is a Hulu original. Now that you say that, let me check
Interesting.
it out, the false spot. But yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So that's the premise of the film. I mean, I think from the trailer, you said this was a spoiler, but from the trailer, it definitely has kind of Rosemary's Baby vibes in terms of just the plot structure, and. I mean, and that's not a spoiler for this movie, but it's kind of a spoiler for the setup. But I don't know. The odd thing about this movie is it's shot like it's almost like a comedy. Everything's like very, like I think it's high key lighting. I always forget if it's low or high key, but it's the one where everything's kind of brightly lit, and there's not a lot of contrast and shadow. There's some scenes where they have that, but it's I don't know. It's mostly shot like a comedy, but it's not very funny. There's some really dark comedic moments in it, especially with Pierce Brosnan. There's this great line where he keeps every time they go to do a I don't know what the procedure's called, but he's has to lube up this long stick before he sticks it in her, and he makes the same comment every time, and it's just really odd and unsettling and uncomfortable, and it totally feels like it's played for humor.
Yeah.
But nothing else in the movie really is, and everything feels kind of elevated, and it is very odd, and I think. I don't know. I'm really curious to see, you haven't seen this yet.
No.
I think everybody should watch it just because of how bizarre of an experience it is. And I don't think that's a good thing necessarily, because it feels like you're not sure what it is for the entire film. The ending kind of solidifies itself more in its genre, but yeah, it's an odd kind of combination of horror and comedy, and and it's starring comedic actors, and it's a really bizarre thing. What it does well though is a lot of the procedural stuff, I don't know, it just makes me so glad I'm not a woman, to some degree, just the difficulties of childbirth and there's some terrifying aspects to and it's everyday stuff. It's not like supernatural or anything. It's just she's going through this procedure of getting not procedure, but she's going through the process of childbirth and the stress that comes with that, and it's very grounded, and it feels like it could happen to anyone. And it's like that. Those aspects of it are pretty effective, and I think her character's interesting, and I think she does a good job. Everybody in the cast is great, but it's just the tone of it is really bizarre, and I think. That's why I was interested in watching it, because I heard that from Red Letter Media or Jay Bauman or somebody on Twitter, and I was because they were just what is this thing? I don't know what it's going for, but I don't know. It's up to you to decide whether or not that's a good or bad thing, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely, because Rhonda wants to see it, so I'm definitely going to watch it. I can't wait.
I think she'll like that.
Yeah,
she doesn't really like horror though. It's not. But
it's like
it's more of a thriller.
Yeah, it's a thriller. That's why I kept telling her. We told her that night too. That it's more of a thriller than anything else. But she still wants to see it, because we were actually flicking through. We were trying to find something, and it popped up. And she goes, "Oh, let's watch that." And Gloriana was like, "Yeah, I don't know." And I was like, "Ugh." So, but we'll definitely do it this weekend.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely, because I love what's her name? Ilana Glazer. There it goes. And she's so funny. I love Broad City. It's
I do
one of my
too.
favorite shows.
She's the best thing about it for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
And I think she like either co-wrote it and produced it. She's definitely involved
She
on the
did the
production side
screenplay
as well.
and produced it. Yeah, I see it here. Yeah.
So, yeah, worth seeing. It's on Hulu, so we might as well check it out. I don't know. It's definitely not up to par with a lot of the other A24 stuff, just in terms of just overall storytelling.
Like Hereditary was A24.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got like
I know, right?
it's
This is extreme.
the bar has been set pretty high for especially horror. I mean, like The Witch, and like you just have you have a lot of great films from each one. Now they're just buying these films. I don't know that they're necessarily involved in the production of them, but yeah, I don't know. It's all right.
Yeah.
The next one though, which is not just all right, I think it's pretty great.
Yeah, I love
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yeah, I dug
which
that.
is produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know who directed it though. You can look that up.
I'll do that while you talk.
Basically, it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix film that got released a couple months ago. So this is not. This is
Well, I saw it. I think it came in March.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. But essentially, this big tech billionaire, kind of like he's kind of like a new age billionaire though. He's like played by Eric Andre.
Mark.
He do what? Mark.
His name's Mark. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, the director's Michael Rianda.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, he accidentally creates a robot apocalypse through an app.
An update on the app.
Yeah, an update
for the phone.
It's kind of like a new iOS, essentially. So it's essentially like iRobot, just goofier. And the only people that get left after this robot apocalypse to save the world is the Mitchells family.
Yeah.
And they're, your ordinary family in terms of just their, the dynamics of the family. Like they're not perfect by any means. And they argue a lot. And there's a great kind of father-daughter dynamic going on. I'll let you kind of talk more about that because.
So it's funny that we just talked about Ilana Glazer. Abby Jacobson, her partner in Broad City, plays the girl.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Danny McBride is the dad.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And no, it's really, I guess you threw it over to me because I'm a dad who has a good relationship with his daughter. But yeah, no, it's just, as they're growing up or as she grows up, her and her dad are really tight. But, like when it happens, puberty, when she becomes a teenager, she's kind of like into, making film, which I thought was cool. And her dad is like more of, non-tech stuff. And their relationship starts to splinter. And, he does this road trip to her college. Forgot what did he cancel the trip or the tickets? I forgot how she lost the tickets. Do you remember, like the ticket to go fly there, or did he cancel it just so they could do the road trip?
They canceled it for the road trip.
Yeah, for the road trip. And
I believe
on this road trip they're supposed to bond, and of course, they actually come to some type of breaking point on the day that Mark, Eric Andre's character, does the app, and of course the app is like a vindictive, a woman scorned, and she sets upon everybody on these like killer robots. But I really do like the dynamic. I did like the father and daughter thing, but also like the mother and father. They have this like weird dynamic too. She's like really aggressive, and the son is this like weird, awkward kid.
He's funny. He likes dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. That's the director, Michael Rianda. Plays Aaron, and and it's funny because I should be looking at like. If it was released in theaters, like that scene with the Furby, which was really good, I'm kind of like, that's weird that was their tie-in to that. Being that it's on Netflix, it kind of works. But I said, if they released that on the big screen, I said, that would have been weird to have this Furby, which Furby's like died out a while ago. But it's so well done. It's so funny.
It's one of the funniest movies for sure of the year, I think, so far. It's just delightfully charming and really well written, really sharp. There's like jokes every other line and visual gags, and the animation's really interesting and different.
It has a weird...
Kind of reminds me of like Scott Pilgrim almost. Like it feels like it could be a graphic novel, like just the way that it's...
The way it plays out. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right about that.
I don't know. It's kind of... it looks great. It's charming. It's fun.
It's fun. Action-packed. All action in it.
I remember even my mother, I watched it with them, everybody, and she was like, "Good pick, Jeremy," at the end of this. It got my mother's approval. So it's, it's, I think it's a fan favorite. I think everybody will like it. And I don't know.
I forgot what, I think in April, they haven't done it, but I was watching Watch Mojo, and they said the best pictures of 2021, and that was number one.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I actually said to Ron, I said, believe it or not, yeah, I think they're right. So far.
Yeah.
I mean, since April, I don't know what's changed, but a couple of movies have come out. But yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I did see with the family too, and we really liked it, and we laughed at all the right parts. I was laughing throughout the whole movie. I thought it was really and good. And like I said, for kids, it's also fun. There's enough for them. But there's since Miller and Lord. There's kind of adult humor there, peppered in subtle stuff.
It works for everybody, I think. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Kids will like it, and it's appropriate for children as well. I'm pretty sure
it'll win, because there's been a few more. We could talk about that. Oh, no.
Well, yeah, you've had a few.
I was going to say, it would have won Best Animated Movie, but then they have released 2 more after that might give it a run for its money. Even though I think that's more solid than the other 2.
Because you have, Luca or whatever?
Luca is amazing. I love Luca. Raya was okay, but this Mitchell's beats Raya by a mile. Yeah. Raya was really interesting and really good, and the visuals were good. But Luca was, oh my God, that was amazing. It was fantastic.
I don't think as many people saw Luca, though, because they kind of dumped it.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But again, it's funny that you say that, because
I still haven't seen it.
Our first episode should have been a whole film industry in the COVID time, but I think it's funny that They are, of course, they're dumping film. What else are you going to do? You're going to release a movie, not many people can see it.
Sure.
Now, we'll segue into this later on what has been released. But like when they first dumped Onward, that seemed to me a dumpable film. That was last year. That was in March.
It's a good film, but it's not.
I like, but I also said this wouldn't have made a lot of money. Yeah. I don't think so. But
that came out though, because that was the last movie I saw in theaters before they shut down.
They actually released that the end of March, which was funny because they were like, "Oh, we're going to release all our movies in the big screen." But when they started dumping films, like I said, like Mitchell's, like even if you say Mitchell's vs. Machines, again, I mean, that would have played well in theaters, but I don't feel it's dumping. I feel it because of the area right now or the climate. They have to go somewhere, and Netflix got the money to buy stuff. Good for them. But with Disney Plus, that's the thing where I could say, oh well, like with Mulan, we finally saw Mulan. Like a week or 2 ago, after it was released last year in September.
Yeah, because that kind of got dumped too.
And that deserved to be dumped,
sure,
too.
That's what
and that wouldn't have made money in theaters either. What was the other movie they sold? They sold something in Christmas time, but then cut to Cruella. Cruella's doing well on Disney Plus. And then they dumped both Raya and Luca. It's a couple of weeks apart. And I felt like Raya would have done well in theaters, but again, there's a lull where I don't see a lot of people enjoying it. And again, and don't get me wrong, I hope I'm not being racist anyway, so forth, but there is a lot of Asian mythology that they really dive deep into, and I think that would have been like, ugh, kids are gonna be like, oh, I don't want to say that. And I did like Raya, but Luca is just amazing. I mean, visually, the story's really good, the ending's amazing, and it's funny because now Pixar, I guess because of COVID, they're releasing a movie like every other month now.
Yeah.
Because that other movie, Turning Red, even though it looks horrible, it's being released too. And I'm like, damn, that's like the 3rd Pixar movie this year. But yeah, as far as that being, what we're saying, it's being dumped. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's funny that you say, because now with the other movie we're going to talk about later, I think now is where they're saying, okay, no more dumping movies on Disney Plus or Netflix or wherever. We're going to release them in theaters regardless.
Yeah.
And I guess
that's why we've had a lot of crap that's been released. Yeah.
But some movies have been good. Like some COVID movies have been really good. And then there's been COVID movies like, thank God they dumped it because, or thank God for COVID because this movie would have flopped, But yeah, Cruella's doing well. And now then the other movie we're going to talk about later, it was amazing. Amazing in the box office for Disney and everybody. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so as far as Mitchell vs. Machine being dumped, I mean, I think that would have done well in theaters. And like I said, if that
agree.
If that does get nominated, I'm afraid that Luca might overshadow it, but we'll see.
And who knows what's going to get released for the rest of the year too.
You mean in animation? You mean? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's deserving of at least a nomination for sure.
Definitely. No,
and I think everybody agrees. I think it's one of those things where
I actually do love the movie, guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So what's this next film?
The Empty Man?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know anything about The Empty Man?
The Empty Man.
The Empty Man is... I'm trying to think of what the plot of this movie is. I saw it like 6 months ago. It has like a really dense plot, but it got released this year, I think. Yeah. I heard about it because some people are calling it like the next cult hit film of there people are like it's gonna be a big deal in 10 years, and so I was kind of not hyped for it, but because it's got a good trailer, but I think it got released on I watched it on Amazon. I bought it. You can watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I saw the trailer. Go on, I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Essentially, it's like if you are wondering, I think it's across a bridge. I forget exactly what the specifics are of this ritual, but if you find an empty bottle, you can blow into it and whisper the name the empty man, and he'll come get you. Essentially, and there's like it's kind of like not Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street, like the idea there's like this like day one you'll hear him and day two it's kind of like this Freddy song. I don't know, it's
I remember the trailer now. Yeah, I saw that trailer.
But it has like really creepy physical effects, and there's some essentially it's kind of a culty movie, not to spoil anything, but it dives into this this cult that essentially worships the empty man. I can't even begin to describe some of the cult stuff because the plot kind of goes off the rails in this movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something too. It's not a short film.
It's just 2 hours and 27 minutes.
And I don't think it overstays its welcome, because I think it's unraveling most of the time. Like it's pretty exciting up to the end. I can't say that when it ended I had any clue what was happening. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a scene in particular in it that reminds me of Kill List by Ben Wheatley in the woods. That's genuinely one of the most terrifying things I've seen in a while. That's really fun and really creative and visually really interesting. And I think it's worth watching for that scene alone. I don't know that the rest of the film quite meets up to that particular moment, but there's some really good stuff in it. It's shot really well, and I'm surprised. I know because of COVID, it's one of those ones where I think they just there's a lot of no-name actors in it. It's not
looks like a dumping film.
that's part of the reason, I think. But overall, critics have definitely liked it. The people that have seen it have liked it, and I would recommend it for horror fans because I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. It's probably a little too long, and the plot gets a little convoluted, but I do think it's worth the ride.
That's the only movie I'll try to convince Gloriana to watch.
The reason it's on this, I don't have a lot to say about it because I saw it so long ago, but I just wanted to mention it because it's, I think it's very interesting.
No, I'm glad you did.
It's a unique.
I remember the trailer, like you said, 6 months ago, and now you bring it up. I'm like, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do want to check that out.
And I have it on my Amazon, so you can check it out.
I'm going to see it for free.
Yes, you are.
And then next is Nomadland.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking for a while.
Go talk, bro.
We can. I'm trying to think. No, do I want to say a lot about Nomadland? It's good. Nomadland is.
Did you see it in theater?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, burped.
It's all right. This is one of those casual podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody cares.
If I fart, you'll be like, "Oh shit, that's funny."
Nomadland is essentially Frances McDormand. I think loses her husband. I forget exactly what happens in the. It's all off screen, but she is working at Amazon, at least in a seasonal capacity, and is living out of her van because she's left their home that they had together in this small town. The film opens with and I forget what town it is. I'm sorry. I saw this a long time ago. I should have just done my research, but you can look it up. Yeah. And I think I don't think it's a fictional town. I think it's a real place.
Yeah, everything's real.
But it says, most of the film is, it's shot kind of like a documentary, but the film opens with the title card. This is something along the lines of like a factory closed in this small town.
Nevada.
And the zip code for the town was like delisted like several years later or something because it was like completely ran by this factory because I think it was like coal producing factory or I don't know what it was, but and it was like the life source for this town. So it just died and all these people were kind of left with nowhere to go. And so that's kind of the tone that it opens with, which I really liked. And Frances McDormand kind of she gets involved with some people some nomads that kind of travel around the country and live out of their vans. And it's interesting because a lot of these people in the film are real people in real life. They're not actors. And I don't know, there's a scene where they're all sitting around the fire just talking about their stories, and which I think some of them are really moving and really devastating. And it's a film that kind of feels very real and it grounded. And I don't know, I feel like we've said that a couple of times today, but the way it's shot is just, I don't know, it's beautiful to look at. I was glad I saw it on the big screen. Frances McDormand is absolutely amazing, in it.
She won Best Actress.
Yeah, I don't know if this is it's definitely not my pick for Best Picture, but I do think it's deserving of it. I didn't want to talk about this long. It's good. You should see it.
I definitely want to.
I think it's pretty moving, and I think it's fascinating to kind of see the inner workings of like living out of a van and what that looks like practically on a day-to-day basis. So I found that interesting. But it's kind of like Into the Wild, movies like that. It's really not my cup of tea. But so I don't know if it'll be something that everybody enjoys. But it's very good, and I think isn't she directing the new Marvel movie?
What's it called? The Marvels? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's an odd choice to go from Nomadland to a Marvel movie, because this is just like a really down-to-earth
but now
documentary.
I actually look forward to watching that movie because they're taking a gamble on that film. So I mean, now that she's behind it, I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao.
That's the director. But yeah, Nomadland is, I think it's pretty good. I don't know if it should have won Best Picture, but I think it's one of those that I was like, that makes sense.
What was nominated? Like
you can look that up. I forget.
Oh, yeah. So what did you want to win Best Picture? How about
that? We'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. All right, go on.
I forget. You pull up the list of nominees, and we'll go through that in a bit. We never did a podcast about the Oscars, did we?
We missed out on that. Yeah, 2020. Oh, 2020. I put 2020.
You got them?
Oh, I put 2020, so I should put 2021.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about Psycho Goreman.
Yeah, I want to hear about Psycho Goreman.
Psycho Goreman is a horror comedy. I don't know who is involved in this film. I did no research before this podcast. I apologize.
It was on the list. Watch Mojo. It was number 3 of the best horror films you should see this year.
That's fair. Yeah, I'd put it there. I mean, it's essentially. What are you looking at?
The Best Picture nominees. I'm looking at them saying, well, besides Judas and the Black Messiah, maybe Mank, Nomadland's the only. I don't know if you saw Promising Young Woman. I know that.
I thought that was great. Yeah, I did see that.
So those are the movies that were nominated.
That's it?
Oh, The Father and Minari. Those are the other ones.
Yeah, I didn't see any of these movies. So I didn't watch the Oscars this year because I didn't give a shit.
Because, I don't think anyone watched them.
Yeah. And they're all movies. I feel like most of them, like Promising Young Woman would have worked, COVID or not COVID.
Yeah.
But like some of those movies, I think were like really good, but like in a normal
Mank
year.
Deserved Netflix. Judas and the Black Messiah, went to HBO.
I thought that was good too.
The Father, I heard was really good. That was like one of
I'm
those
sure all of them
pictures.
are worth being nominated, but at the same time, like I feel like it was one of those years where, like if we had a full list of movies, a lot of them wouldn't have got nominated.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, go on. Psycho Goreman.
Psycho Goreman. 2 kids are playing a game in the back of their parents' house, and they come across a gem or like I don't know, some kind of like figure in the. Sorry, I bumped my mic. Burping today a lot. We had snooze earlier. It was delicious, but it's destroying my insides.
Snooze AM Eatery over here in the Bay Area.
It's great. I love it. But anyway, two like younger kids find this it's a gem of some kind in the ground, and it summons this being called that they call Psycho Goreman, and he it's like he like was a plant. He was like one of those people that like you'd see in a Marvel comic. Like he's like the villain of a Marvel movie, basically. That gets summoned by these two children, and because they have this gem, they have control of him, and so they name him Psycho Goreman, and it's a very throwback '80s kind of slasher slash like I don't know. There's a lot of practical effects that are very fun, some stop motion stuff, and then it's really gory. Obviously, it's called Psycho Goreman. You'd hope that there'd be some good gore in it, but it's like good '80s gore. Yeah. It's a fun comedy about this family that like controls a cosmic being, and then the kids are really good in it. It's a little over the top at times in terms of like story, like it's a little ridiculous, but we had a good time. Yeah. So yeah, Psycho Goreman. It's on Amazon.
Oh, is it?
I think it's on Shudder. I think.
Oh,
I bought it, but
so there you go. Another movie I get to watch.
You get to watch it for free.
Okay, Saint Maud, which was number one.
Yeah, so it was a number one on the list. I agree. Yeah, I think Saint Maud's the best, other than maybe A Quiet Place 2, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Saint Maud is essentially about this woman that something's happened in her past, and it'd be a spoiler for me to go into that. But no. She's working as a caregiver for this woman that's dying of cancer, I believe.
Yeah.
And she's very religious, and it seems like it's like a newfound religion to her. And she is the way she's caring for, I think the tagline on IMDb is that she like cares for her patients to an extreme or something. She, like wants to share the love of the Lord with all her family, or not her family, with the people that she's caring for.
Yeah.
And there's this challenge that comes from it's I don't know, it's a movie about a very mentally ill person that believes in religion, and how those two things can be really bad, potentially.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a film that criticizes religion, particularly Catholic, I think is what she is. And it's very dark, and I can't go into much of it without spoiling a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the ending is brilliant. It's also, again, like I said, it's a movie that's definitely criticizes religion in a way that might upset some people. Because it's, I don't know, she crosses the line because she thinks she's doing it in the name of God. And that's interesting. It's a slow burn of a film. I think it's also produced by A24. It has a great tone to it and some really wonderful effects. I think it just commits to this tone all the way through, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it after I saw it. So that was a movie that that needed to be on this list. I don't have a lot to say without spoiling it. Maybe you'll watch it one day and we can.
And then we can,
I think I rented that though. I don't think I bought that. So
it's on Hulu.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. It was on like Stars or Showtime or something.
It's on Epix.
Careful, you're talking off mic.
Hulu.com on the Hulu app, so I can watch it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. After watching that list, Saint Maud, I've been wanting to see that since I saw the trailer.
I think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
It feels different. And I really enjoyed it. But next thing on the list is Quiet Place Part 2, which is you liked the first one. I'm assuming I did too.
I've seen that like 3 or 4 times. I love
it's
Quiet
really
Place.
great. It needs it doesn't need a whole lot of introduction because most people have seen or know of A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
But essentially it picks up right where the first film left off. If you haven't seen the first one,
but it's both a prequel and a sequel, right?
Sort of. They do
give flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean the stuff. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's like how the film opens is with the actual first day where it all kind of started out, which sets the tone up in a really brilliant way. I mean, I thought the opening is really impressive.
Yeah.
John Krasinski can direct a film. This guy's
he's good.
I mean, the first movie is great, but I think this is one of the better sequels I've ever seen. I really think, other than like the obvious ones, I mean, this is such a consistently great second feature, and just sequel to a movie that I think was really good. I don't know how you come back from that first film and do the same thing over again really effectively and really well. It's really impressive to me, but. Essentially, it picks up right where the second film, or right where the first film left off.
Yeah.
The remaining family. I don't remember their names. Emily Blunt and the kids.
Emily Blunt and the kids.
Yeah, that would be a good band name. But they take off from their family home looking to share the news that they discovered at the end of the first film, which is that his or her earpiece, the interference is a weakness to these monsters, and it's got some great kind of secondary cast, like Cillian Murphy's really good in it, and it's just nonstop action. I mean, but it's like really thrilling and compelling all the way through, and it goes to places that I was really really unexpected places. I don't know. I had a really good time in the theater. I don't know if I'd like. When I saw the first one, I was blown away by it in theaters, and then I saw it again, and I think it's just as good, but it loses a lot of the tension because you know where it's going, obviously. But I felt that more with this series than I did other series for some reason. Mm-hmm. And I hope that's not the case with this film, but it looks great. It sounds great. Like the sound design obviously is really good.
For a movie with that aspect, that should be,
You would hope so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It impresses on a technical level. The performances are fantastic, and I loved where it went with the story, and I love. I just think I was just really. I think I like it more than the first one, even.
Interesting.
Maybe.
So is this like an Aliens type thing, where Aliens is a million times better than Alien?
No, I wouldn't say that. Well, I don't agree with that, but I do love Aliens.
They're two different films, but the sequel is a lot more exciting and stuff. Yeah. For Godfather 2.
There's just some bold comparisons I'd have to make if I wanted to compare them to those movies. But I just think it's like it takes what the first one did and it does it even better, if not just as well.
Just as well. Yeah.
And I don't know. I was really impressed. I think what a movie to come back from the pandemic and kind of be one of the official kind of, other than Fast 9, which I don't give a shit about.
I hope you see that.
I'm glad we're back. Movies are back. And this is worth seeing on the big screen. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw Black Widow though, which is the other big film.
That's the movie I've been hinting at, where Disney now knows they can start releasing movies back in theaters.
Yep. It's official.
Made $240 million opening weekend. So, and that's for right after COVID. We did go see. I told my family that if I do go to the theaters, the first one I'm gonna see is the Marvel film, which is. And I mean, I'm not gonna go and jerk it off. I mean, you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But go into kind of the basic plot.
What's good? Yeah, I know. What's good is because we liked Winter Soldier. We saw that together in theaters, and this is in the same vein. Not as good, but it's still in the same vein, and it takes place right after Civil War because obviously Black Widow. If you haven't seen Endgame, spoiler alert, she died. So it gives you a story in the background, but. Disney Plus.
Make sure you're talking on mic.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Can't hear right now. So it sets up, basically it's just a plain old story. Black Widow, she's on the run after Civil War, and Thunderbolt Ross corners her, or so he thinks, and she goes to Norway, and it's just a little story where she, and there's no spoilers, you see this in the trailer, she ends up reconnecting with her family. Someone tries to kill her, and this person's linked to her sister, and then she goes looking after her sister, and then you get her sister's background, and then her, and then on that they
played by Florence Pugh, right?
Florence Pugh. Who, I love her so much. She's so cute. I love her. I'm from Midsommar to now. I mean, I know she's been in other things, but I love her. She's cute. She's bubbly, and she's really good in this film too. She's like I think better than Scarlett Johansson. And then they of course find their father or surrogate father in the Red Guardian, who used to be the Captain America of Russia, and then their mother, who happens to be like a scientist within the Russian community, and all this to. And again, I'm trying to think if the trailer gives it away, but it's just a big like political action film. Ray Winstone's really good in it. He plays the main villain, and there's cameos from some of the other stars in this series, which I won't go into. Spoiler, but I will say this. I did enjoy the film. It's good. I mean, when you see it, you'll be like, yeah, it's just another. It's almost like one of the Disney Plus movies. I actually would have kidded to Disney Plus's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's just a story in the middle, just to set up more story. But the ending, for all you nerds, I definitely stay till the end. There's two endings. The one all the way at the end is the best one. And just to say, I mean, I know if you look at, for everybody who sees the MCU template for the upcoming years, there's a little movie that's on the slate that's supposed to be in 2024 called Dark Avengers. Just keep that in mind when you see the ending of this movie. It's a really good setup because, like I said, again, this is not like, Endgame or Infinity War. This is just a small little story, gives you a little action, gives you a little bit about her and her family. It gives you a taste of course, the after Endgame. And it also gives you a taste of, again, if you watch Loki, today was the last episode, and there's a lot of surprises where it goes to that. But it's good. Like I said, it's not Endgame, Infinity War, even Winter Soldier. But it's really good. It's fun. And like I said, I think Marvel is now known for their endings, which are better than, like, some of their endings are better than almost the whole film. But yeah. So, and again, it made $240 million. So now we know that Disney will start releasing movies in theaters come next week.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's not a pile of garbage.
Yeah, no. You've seen most of the MCU films, right? Or if not all of them.
I think I've seen all of them.
Yeah, so you would enjoy it. I mean, like I said, it's got action. And there's a point where the story may drag on. But again, it's based on the comic books, the whole main story of Black Widow. And again, I'm not going to get into it because that's not in the trailer. But again, it could be bogged down in the story. But it's just a quick adventure. What's his name? Oh my God, David Harbour, who plays the Red Guardian, also from Stranger Things. He's just really good in it. It's really, really good. And so is Rachel Weisz, or Weisz. Weisz. She's really good in it too. I love Rachel Weisz. Yeah, she's hot. She's really good in it too. It's like everyone Florence Pugh, I think, is the best. She's very, like I said, she makes that character so much fun, and she has a great emotional scene in the film. But the good thing is, like I said, she does have a future. It's not just they got a big name. All these big name stars appear in one film and you never see them again. Sure. Like Robert Redford in Winter Soldier. But I mean, yeah, you can see that they do have a future in the MCU, which is really cool. So, yeah, that's it.
Let's talk about Tenet.
Let's talk about that movie. Tenet.
Do you want to explain the plot of Tenet?
I don't think there's anyone who can explain the plot of Tenet. Well, you can on a rudimentary scale. So I'm going to go into the safe track because I know you've seen it, 3 times, 4 times?
Yeah, I think 3.
I definitely want to. Mm-hmm. First viewing for anybody, I'm going to tell you right now, it does get kind of convoluted at one point. Not that I mind, but basically
Where do you even start? It's like...
Well, where do you start? I like that.
Where do you start? Literally, but also...
Listen, there's a line in one of my
favorite... We're spoiling this, by the way, so... if you haven't seen Tenet...
Oh, yeah, because it came out a year ago, though. I mean, and it's on HBO. It's been on HBO for 2 months. Still spoiling it. So there's a government agent, because his CIA secret, he mentions was a part of an operation that goes wrong. And within this operation, he notices that there is some type of weird thing with a weapon. And in that thing, he wants to know what's going on. He actually dies. That's the spoiler.
Yeah.
But is brought back to life. Again, you can watch the movie to find out how. And then he finds out about, he's given this word Tenet, which is a single word. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if anyway. But so then he goes on this mission to find where this weird weapon thing is, and we come across the new Batman, Robert Pattinson, and he's an English.
You're off mic again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't give Carlos headphones.
Which, and I feel bad about that. But anyway, so he meets up with Batman, Robert Pattinson, and he's the English agent, and they go on this quest, and you find out that there's a link to what is it? They find this thing. What is? I mean, I still don't know what it is. And in investigating, they know that there's a woman who her husband is a arms dealer played by Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, who's great.
He's really good. Yeah, I really loved him in it. And he's really cheesy bad guy.
Yeah, a really cheesy bad guy.
And you find out that he is an arms dealer, but we find out that he became this arms dealer because he found something from the future in the past that gave him, besides gold, gave him this power to control time, I want to say, or at least reverse time or go through time. Like I said, I got to see it a couple more times to get. And in this, in this thing, which again, oh my God, I'm trying to get the line perfect from the Monkey song, the Diddy Diego War Chant, but it's one watching it, and it's not. I mean, we're spoiling, but I'm not that stupid. I akin this to Back to the Future 2 meets Inception, but it's a moment where when I watched the beginning, and Robert Pattinson grabs the helmet of the person running away. Mm-hmm. Right then and there, I knew that the beginning of the film is also the end of the film, and the end of the film is the beginning of the film. And I thought that was kind of cool. I did like the whole go through this. What do you call that? I forgot what they called it.
I don't even remember.
The stone, and when you go through, you're going back, reversing in time. I like that sci-fi stuff. I know you mentioned this last week. It's not his best film. But what I like is it's not better. Like I said, Inception is still my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as Inception. It just doesn't have the charisma.
Yeah, like it wanted that, and I can't. And I do dig the whole like. And again, I know you're going to yell at me. I have found it better than Interstellar. Interstellar, because of more of the sci-fi time travel theme. Though Interstellar has that, but not enough for me. But again, like you said, how do you explain it? I mean, that's, I guess, the gist of it. You would have to see it to see all these things. I mean...
Make sure you're talking to that mic.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm going to have to just strap it. I'm going to talk like this.
You can move it if you need to. Move it closer to you.
It's just, I just tend to look this way when I talk. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot. The ending still, after watching that ending, and I can say I literally saw the ending most recently at midnight, still kind of confused by the ending, and I know for me to say that to you is kind of like, oh, how stupid can you be? But there's still, I need to grasp.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, like why? And again, real quick, and I know Jeremy don't like tangents. Why I love Back to the Future 2 is that it's the film of the series. It's almost the empire of the film series. But while Back to the Future 1 is going on, when you see Back to the Future 2, you see both films playing at one point. And it gives you this thing like, holy shit, I got to watch Back to the Future 1 with Back to the Future 2 in mind because they're happening simultaneously. I think that's what I dug about this because, stuff plays out and then when you go back, even almost like a Memento, when it goes backwards, you see like, holy shit, this is happening at the same time. And I dug that about that. I really did.
Well, like the founding of Tenet happens off screen.
Tenet. Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting about it, I think what I like about it the most is there's this whole story that happens, off screen. There's this whole obviously, like you said, the end of the film is the beginning of the film, but like with Robert Pattinson's Batman's character at the end of the film, states that they've had this long journey leading up to that point, and it's like, I don't know, I like that concept that there's this whole, and you get to kind of fill the gap in yourself. I hope they don't make a sequel to this or anything that.
I
don't know what you do. But like I do like the fact that like they founded this organization, and I don't know, like I like that all that stuff happens off screen. Yeah, it's just different. But it also the actual narrative to some degree happens before the film even starts.
Correct,
and that's weird. But it's also what makes this film really interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I like it a lot. I've seen it a couple times.
You saw it already 3 or 4 times. I'm going to tell you right now, I will watch it again because I want to watch it again with what I saw in like Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 1. I want to put that all in my head and say, okay, now I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Though again, like I said,
it does make a lot more sense the second time
when Robert Pattinson grabs the helmet off, I knew it was either Robert Pattinson himself in the future or it was Denzel Washington, John Washington.
Who was very good in this, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. And you know what's funny? Somebody said that because the way he walks, he's got that sass.
Has this swagger.
And I'm like, you got that swagger. And I'm like, oh, it's like, like Dolomite or someone from the 70s. They're going to be like a whole series of his characters just like, chilling. And but I love that about it. I'm glad he wasn't like, like upper... I'm a secret agent. I
think this film would have been lifeless without a little bit of charm from him.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like every time he went to kiss Catherine, like when he's leaving, kisses Catherine on the cheek to piss him off.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh's character.
I
just love that. I thought that was all. Like who else would do that?
Yeah.
He's like. Kiss you. Just to piss him off.
That scene at the dinner where they like threaten to take him out back. He's like, "Is this how you treat all your guests or something?"
It's like those lines are very, very funny. It's really good.
I feel like it's like Nolan. It's like there's still like a little bit of cheese to it, but
there is.
But I feel like it's not as cheesy as some of his other films. It's definitely more cold. I describe it to you as more cold. I think this film is like definitely. I don't know. It just feels more detached emotionally than his other films. Because what was his last film was Interstellar, wasn't it?
Before this? Dunkirk.
Oh, I forget about Dunkirk. Yeah. Another very cold war film.
Yeah, that's very cold. Yeah, definitely.
So he's trending away from these like kind of. I guess like we watched Memento recently. Marissa hated that so much. She's wrong. That's a great film.
It is a great film. I love Memento.
But it's another film though that has like it's like almost lifeless.
Lifeless. Yeah.
And I feel like the first time it leaves you a little cold. At least when you're watching the film, you feel detached from it. Yeah. And then when it ends, you go, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." Yeah. But the hard part is you have to sell somebody on a second viewing for it to be enjoyable. And that's where I think the conversation about whether or not it's good comes into play is like, if you have to watch a film more than once to enjoy it, is it worth watching? I think is a fair question to ask.
No, it is. And it's interesting you just said it because my brain automatically said, oh, wait, what's he saying? You know me. I think I'm the kind of person, if I see the movie more than once, it's a good movie. Yeah. And if I see it more than twice, it's a great film. And like I said, like Pulp Fiction, Godfather. But you're right. Some people say, oh, well, if you had to watch that again, then it's got to be stupid if you didn't understand it or it doesn't. But this movie is made for that. It's made for you to watch and think and be a detective or, start, thinking outside the box. And I like that about that. Similar to Inception, even Memento. But like you said, there's a personality, there's charm, there's charisma in John Washington, and I thought it was like when Kick-Ass shows up at the end, and I was like, what's he doing in this movie? Like at the end of the movie, I like that because of that. Again, it's not. I'm not saying it's the greatest film, all of his greats.
No, but I do think there's an argument to be made that it's better than what critics thought, and I think it's...
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
I think there's a really interesting movie here, and I feel like... I know there was some issues with the sound design. Yeah, a lot of people had... Marissa had an issue with that. I did myself. Yeah. The first time I saw it, I definitely had a harder time following it because I didn't have subtitles. And there's just some muffled dialogue, and it's... the score
I got mad because... And there's nothing to test to Jeremy. I love Jeremy, and I appreciate his free HBO Max. Every time I put on subtitles, the movie shuts off. I like. Oh,
really?
It says something's wrong, and I have to take off subtitles. To keep watching the movie. But
weird.
Because when I did it with In the Heights, like that scene with Mark Anthony, we had to watch it 3 times. Oh. Because it kept saying something's wrong with, and then it would show us.
That's strange.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's happening in your house. Issue. It happens with me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to put on subtitles at one point, and I was like, oh, no, because it just keeps shutting off for me. So
that sucks.
Yeah. So I let it go.
Because it's worth seeing with subtitles. I think it. I have it on Vudu. Do you have my Vudu login?
No, you don't. Remember, I asked you for it, and you said, it's the same thing. And I was like, all right.
Oh, really?
Send it to me, bro. Just send it to me. After this one, he's going to send it to me.
Yeah.
Wait, you have it on...
I bought a physical copy of it.
Vudu. Okay.
It's on HBO Max right now. If you have HBO Max,
watch it. But you got it before.
But I purchased the physical copy of it.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, no, I just like I feel like people. I don't know. Like it didn't get nominated for anything, and I'm like, come on, like just on a technical level.
And I'll say this, and this is what I hate.
Nolan did kind of shoot himself in the foot.
He did, and that's what I was going to say, guys. He kind of hyped this film up and made a big deal, cried about it.
Yeah.
Where people were like, oh, this got to be the second coming. We,
sure.
Can't wait to see this movie. Then it came out, and it was just this. It's a good movie, but then people like how I feel with Lord of the Rings. I hate Lord of the Rings, and it's not a bad movie. I saw it once, I enjoyed it, but it's like everybody hyped it up, and then after I said, it was all right. You guys hyped it up like it was the second coming, and well, watch the 5-hour version. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But that's what I feel like. He did that. He kept saying, oh, well, it's not fair not to release it with the certain sound design. It's not fair to dump it in August. And he did all the things. Oh, you got to. And so people are like, damn, this movie's got to be good. This has got to be a great movie. That we have to see it special way he wants to see it. And then people saw it, and they were kind of like, oh, I was expecting more.
I don't think people really saw it, though.
Well, you said critics.
Critics did, yeah. It got like a 75% or something. It didn't do that poorly.
Like 75% is not great with critics. But, I mean, it's better than 50%. But
sure.
But you're right. I mean,
certified
they
fresh,
dumped it in August. I mean, dumping. You know that January, August, and what was the other one? Is just a dumping ground. October is a dumping ground for movies that they don't have faith in. Bill and Ted was dumped in August.
I heard that was a pile of garbage.
I haven't. My daughter didn't want to watch it. She's like, I'm not gonna watch that. I said, well, we've seen them all. She's like, yeah, not me. So I'll have to watch that by myself next week or something. But yeah, it's like it was dumped. I hate saying that word, dumped, especially with Christopher Nolan. But it was just placed there because it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be originally Memorial Day, and then he pushed it for July, which July 4th weekend is that film. And then they said, yeah, well, it's still COVID. And then he was like, well, release it somewhere, and they released it in August. It was released the week of or the week before Bill and Ted, and that should tell you something how they felt.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure now people have watched it on HBO. I mean, but
I hope so, and I hope people like it. I hope people don't just discredit it as nonsense.
I don't.
That's fair. I mean, but I don't know. A lot of the people, even some of my friends, were definitely not interested.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I was just like, but there's, I don't know, like the scene where the building, it gets exploded backwards. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
I did dig that. I thought that visually, I was looking at it, I was like, but wait, and I thought, oh yeah, now it makes sense. Same with the bombs going off and the rocks, and I was like, that was cool. Like one point where he was on a rock that was going back up.
And cool. Honestly, I don't know how they did it. Like, there's moments in that film where I'm like, where bombs are exploding backwards while people people are physically running backwards. in the film.
And let me tell you,
it's unbelievable.
You could tell,
especially if you see it a second time where you're not paying attention as much to the plot.
Because you could that's another thing I want to say, and I was going to bring that up, but we just jumped into it. What I liked also that he did was that there's scenes that cut abruptly. Scenes where the next scene, it seems like you missed something. And I think that was interesting for that because I feel like maybe he did that on purpose with the whole forward-backward thing.
Yeah.
There's some disjointedness, but obviously later on you see that, like you said, physically running backwards. But there's a scene where I said when he was running forward and it ended up being like a backward scene. Yeah. I was like, you could see, but it almost came out perfect. And I was like, oh my God, that's so well done.
Yep. There's a lot of that, like where there's no way to do it practically without them physically running backwards on camera, and then either reversing the footage, or I don't know how. Like there's so much to it when you watch it that it's just really impressive.
It was, that was,
and that's what with the second or third viewing, it's just wow, all the there's a lot good about this, and I feel like a lot of people just kind of discredit it because the plot's a little hard to understand, which I get it. I get that a lot of people are just and it's not that people want to turn their brains off, but it's a film that demands either a repeat viewing or which is fine. But I also understand. I get that people don't like that, but I don't know. I just was like, oh man. But there's these moments of just cinematic joy.
So then it's just Jeremy. Then it's for me and you. We'll enjoy it for say
that's fair.
You missed out, bro. You missed out. Me and him are gonna dig it. You don't have to dig it. But yeah.
Oh, that's Tenet. Go see Tenet and watch it and actually enjoy it, please. I hope people will give it more credit than it's gotten. I feel like.
Yeah.
It's worth credit or worth giving credit to, though. I mean, you haven't seen I Think You Should Leave season 2, have you?
Not too. I didn't even know it came out until you just had your list. I was like, what? I gotta go watch it tonight.
How do you not know? It's the greatest show ever. You need to be
we
waiting
did. I actually,
to the hour
he
for it to
got
come
me
out
out to
like
season
myself.
1, and I loved it. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is genius. And then I was like, so long ago. Wasn't that 2019?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
Yeah, 'cause
even
I was
earlier
looking
than
at
that.
the old house, yeah. And then you're saying part of season 2. I'm like,
It came out July 8th.
oh, okay.
And I was
Well,
like
that's
waiting for it to come
it's a
out.
week ago, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You made me feel like I was sitting in a rock or something.
You didn't even know it came out.
I didn't, bro. But go on, talk about it.
It's all right.
Without no spoilers. Oh, motherfucker. It's all right. It's not even good.
I mean, I'm glad it exists. There's some really great moments in it. There's this one called Coffin Flop that's just spectacular. If you haven't seen I Think You Should Leave, but at this point, please go watch it on Netflix.
season
I
one's
think
amazing.
season 1 is a masterpiece
It
of
is, no doubt.
sketch comedy, and there's some stinkers in there, but overall, it's pretty outstanding. And season 2 has like really good moments in it, and I think there's a lot, like we're already quoting it. There's like, I don't know, like sloppy steaks. If you haven't seen it, but for those that have, would know what I'm talking about. There's just some great Tim Robbins and stuff in this, but I'm a little disappointed.
Season 2.
So some of it's, I feel like it's budgetary. I don't know if it was because of COVID or what, but it feels like it was produced a lot less. I don't know if it was. I mean, it's not that it looks bad or anything like that. It's just like it feels like some of the sketches were like done in an office. Like a lot of people, there's a lot of office sketches and stuff like that.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
And it feels like maybe, and they're reusing sets from Detroiters and stuff is what it seems like, and which is fine, but it just doesn't like. I don't feel like, I don't know, like you could, if I were to like list off the types of sketches you get in season 1, I feel like there's not as much variety in season 2 as there is in season 1. It's still worth watching. I still had a really good time. Like there's some really great moments in it, but there's also some sketches that just don't even have an ending and don't make really any sense. There's a particular one where they play card roulette that like it goes nowhere. It's like a traditional setup for an I Think You Should Leave sketch, but it doesn't land. And it's like bafflingly not funny. Like it's there's just some moments that I don't know. But overall, it's worth seeing, and I just wanted to talk about it because I love the show, and I'm so glad I'm still glad we got a second season because we didn't deserve it. Even though the first season's brilliant, nobody, I don't know. People are catching on. I think more people are talking about. I mean, it's become a cult hit.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like most people haven't seen it. I feel like. But so I just always want to mention that because
now you bring up Master of None season 4 supposedly came out, didn't it?
Yeah, but because of the Aziz controversy,
that's right.
they just kind of
dumped it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought I saw the trailer the other day, and I was like, but I didn't. Well, anyway, keep going.
But I haven't seen any of that series. I wasn't a huge fan of what I had. I've seen some of it, but
I like Master of None, but yeah.
Anyway, I think you should leave season 2. For those that are fans of the show, like if you didn't know it was out, you should see it. And if you have seen it, I hope you liked it. But yeah, I'm glad we got another season of it. But
and last but not least,
have you seen Sharp Objects?
It's in my queue. I always tell you that. But yeah, I definitely want to see it. This is season 2 now, right? You watched?
No, there's only one season.
Oh,
it's based on a book
by
Gillian Flynn, who did Gone Girl. And I think she co-wrote or she helped write some of the show, I think. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Amy Adams plays a writer that gets sent to her small hometown of Wind Gap, which is like, it's like southern Missouri, in the boonies, good old racist Wind Gap. I don't know if Wind Gap's actually a real city or not. Because the actual series was shot somewhat in California and some in Georgia.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes back home and these two girls are murdered. One of them gets their teeth ripped out. It's really brutal.
Yeah.
And she's
no, it's not real.
Not a real city. Okay. It feels like a real town though. Like I feel like you know everybody by the end of the show, and she essentially, she's a reporter and gets sent there to kind of investigate these murders and work with local law enforcement and stuff like that to try and kind of figure out what happened and get kind of a different take on it because she's from there. And she's very much an alcoholic, and has some other demons that I won't get into for the sake of spoilers. The end of episode 1 though kind of gives you an idea of what the term sharp objects means and why. So it's not a big spoiler to say that she has some inner demons that get kind of unleashed pretty early in the show.
The trailer for the first season does. For that it says it.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that. I haven't actually seen the trailer for it. Yeah. But Amy Adams is spectacular in this show, and it has an ending that is unbelievable. Like, just I can't stop thinking about it. We finished it last night at like 1 a.m.
Oh, okay.
I could barely sleep. I was just like,
and I see you.
It blew me the fuck away.
He's watching it again.
Yeah, you've got to. I hadn't seen it though.
Okay.
I can't believe I hadn't heard about. I mean, I knew this show existed, but for some reason I thought it was on Showtime, not HBO.
Yeah.
But nobody's. My brother saw it. Was like, you gotta watch it. But other than that, I haven't heard anything about this show. Other than Amy Adams is really good in it. Yeah. I love the poster. And there's some weird dynamics between her and her mom. And played by blank. I don't know her name. She's great though in everything. Great character actress.
I forgot too because that was one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it. I was like, oh, these are 2 great actors.
Yeah, no, it's got a great cast. And what's interesting about it is it's like,
Patricia Clarkson.
It's set in a small town, and like I said, everybody knows everybody, but it's like really tense because I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's like, excuse me 1 second. It's just because everybody in the town knows everyone. There's a lot of like shit talking and like gossip. And just nastiness amongst all the townsfolk, and there's some real darkness in the show that I think all fits into the narrative and fits into the overall theme of the show really well. And I don't know, it's the ending though is just mind blowing. I really like the last second of the show. The last line is perfect. And I can't believe more people weren't like, holy shit. Yeah. I don't know if people just stopped watching it or what.
I got nominated for some Golden
Did it?
Globes
Okay, good.
Like,
but yeah, like I still can't believe that more people weren't talking about the show. It's unbelievable. I haven't seen a show this good in a while.
I saw the trailer, me and Rhonda were like, oh, we gotta watch this.
You're off mic, by the way.
When I saw the trailer, when I first saw the trailer, me and Rhonda really wanted to watch it, and then it was like always, we have other things, and we were like, oh, we'll watch it next. Then it kind of slipped off, and then I saw it pop up in your thing, and I was like, we should watch it now. He's watching it. She's like, yeah, but right now she's watching Big Bang Theory, and I'm like, I gotta wait 12 seasons for Big Bang Theory.
Oh gosh, that's just it's terrible.
It's not Sharp Objects, but yeah,
it's not anything. That show's awful.
Oh my god, don't. I'll tell you when it gets awful. Right now I'm on season 2.
Season 1 and 2 were okay.
Yeah, they were. And I love the introduction of the comic shop when they get deeper into the nerd shit. I think I stopped watching after season 5 or 6.
It's unbearable.
Is it? Now you got me all ready to watch the rest of the show, bro, to see how bad it gets. But yeah, Sharp Objects definitely is going to be my next pick then.
Yeah, we can do a whole episode on it. It's worth talking about because there's just a lot of great detail to that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's mind blowing. I don't know. We don't normally do TV really.
No, we always know and talk about it. But to do a whole show on it, that should be interesting.
We'll see.
We did a Twin Peaks episode.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, I think that's it for us.
So that's it for episode 42.
It's an hour and 23 minutes.
Oh, was it an hour and 20? Yeah, I thought it was an hour and a half. So 7 minutes ahead of schedule.
Yep.
Well, so I mean, next week, are we going to do this every week again?
We could.
I can do it.
I can do it during the week.
I love podcasting.
Yeah.
So next week, again, this format of the show, as you notice, we're doing like we used to do with a bunch of films.
We change it up every week.
He'll give me the movie to watch. And
we do what we feel like doing.
What we feel like. What I feel like. So stay tuned for the next episode next week. Until that time, I'm Carlos Fernandez.
I'm Jeremy Knight.
And we'll see you on the next one. You take care.